Hello. Today, we are going to start out on the journey you are taking when you have suffered a stroke. But before I start, let me just say that no two strokes, like no two individuals, are the same. This you should remember in the healing process. Do not make the mistake of comparing yourself to others. We all heal in our own time. We learn the lessons in our own time. It's not a competition or a race, and there is no finishing line. Settle back and tell yourself this again and again. It will help. Image of middle-aged man sitting in his armchair and thinking, so where do you go from here? Perhaps you are lying in a hospital bed and your leg or your arm is paralyzed. Or you have difficulty swallowing your food or even drinking water. When you feel you need to urinate and you cannot hold it for a minute. So what are you going to do? First, you congratulate yourself that you can think logically. You can try and sum up your situation. That is a good start. Your brain has not been damaged to such an extent that you could not have rational thoughts. You find maybe that your speech is still there and your vocabulary and ability to grasp meaning. Then you can spare a thought for those who are not in such a good position. Although you may not feel that you were lucky, you could have been left a vegetable, left in a hospital bed for the rest of your life. But you, whether at the moment you want it or not, your life will go on. So think of that for a few minutes, and then ask yourself, how are you going to live with the abilities you still have, not how are you going to live with the abilities you once had and which now have lost. You can lie back and wallow in your current situation. No one will stop you. No one will say, get up and go on. At the end of the day, that is up to you. You alone, and that very feeling itself can make you feel alone. It is entirely your decision what you do now. But there are some things you can rely on. Experience has shown nothing more, nothing less. If you decide that you want your situation to improve, the chances are more than likely that it will improve. But don't be under any illusions that it's going to be easy and things are going to fall into your lap. They aren't. The path before you is uphill and hard to tread. There will be times when you want to turn back and be that bedridden you, or times when you feel you desperately need a rest. But that's okay, allow yourself a rest. But then you will continue up that hill step by step. Sometimes the steps will be larger and stronger, sometimes they'll be small and almost imperceptible. So small you won't even notice that you have moved forward a little. But believe me, trust those around you who say you have come on. They see what you don't because those 20 tiny steps you have taken since you last meet are visible to others. That you will gradually see, very gradually, I believe very much that the individual urge to change is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It just happens. Whether you see that immediately is another matter. That's just you and your perception. Now, for a few facts you should keep in mind at this stage. Any rehabilitation you do as soon as 3 weeks after your stroke are great. Apparently the brain is more receptive at this stage. Secondly, and this is ultra important, believe it or not, the brain can repair itself. The word for this is neuroplasticity. This means that when a stroke happens in the brain, after this the brain can redevelop neurons to link again. These are the tiny receptors which makes it possible to use our fingers or any part of the body hit by a stroke. Repetitive exercises help build up these receptors. In other words, the brain learns again and tries to replace what has been lost. Actually, that is not so amazing. Look what happens when you cut your finger or bruise your arm. The body sets out on a repair job. So why not the brain? This is relatively new knowledge in terms of the brain, yet it is knowledge which has revolutionized physiotherapy in recent years. The important fact for you is that it takes consistent exercise with that arm or leg or hand. Research has shown it's difficult for most at the start. The change is small, ever so small. But building upon that is the way of regaining movement in any part of the body. So I feel I've given you enough to think about today. Take your time to think things over. And if you want more facts and advice on things you can or should do, join me in my next episode or part of your journey after a stroke.